Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of the Truth, still the 3rd of May 2018. I forgot there's a few things I was going to mention about that this morning broadcast. The other thing is they brought on Brian Cox. I wonder why, does he have so much time to be on television? He seems to be on beck and call whenever they need a scientist. He's there, he's making BBC programmes. I sometimes wonder how do they manage to get these people to be so TV ready. Anyway, maybe that says something about a question mark about that. But the fact is that he was asked, obviously, by This Morning, please provide us as a scientist, because they're attacking your claim, a rebuttal for the flat Earth argument. And he just laughed, basically. It was just went by ridicule, and he didn't even give any kind of argument. Like, if this was a scientist and he was meant, you'd expect some kind of deep answer from him, to sort of sway us. But he didn't give anything. He didn't give anything. All he said was about the horizon and things before and after it. He basically just said that. I mean, that doesn't even answer, obviously the flat earth people should have taken that apart and said, well, what? Is that all you're going to say? What do you mean by that? Are you talking about the ships going over the curve, which we know has already been disproved because that was based on eyesight, and that's the problems with eyesight, and if you have a camera you can see past that. Is that really the only argument he was going to give? And then he just laughed and he said it was dribble, and he was sort of playing at this day and age type thing. We shouldn't be. But I'm sure there were people at home that just by him being there was enough to stamp, that science is right and these people are completely wrong. Even though he didn't say anything, just because of his charisma, just because he has BBC programmes falling out of his ears. I mean, does he have any time to do science when he's making all these television programmes? I mean, does he actually have a job doing science stuff? Or it's just making BBC programmes? Or do they have a department where they will wheel out these people? I mean, I don't know, maybe there's not much science to be going on with research and stuff. I don't know, maybe he's got enough time, but he didn't do himself any favours in my eyes by not even attempting to give a proper argument to the question without falling into ridicule and laughing. It doesn't, even from a person who's looking objectively, without bias on either side, cannot say that what he said was of any way backing up anything, really. It was just so flimsy. But yeah, I just thought I had to mention that because I couldn't let that get away because it was just so bad. But yeah, I'm sure people watched him and just because he was there, that was enough. And I know there's another radio, I think there was a radio broadcast as well on BBC Radio 4 with Jeremy Vine. I haven't heard that one yet, but I'm sure that's the same kind of stuff. It may be a little bit more serious because it's Jeremy Vine, and it will be a bit more serious than Philip Schofield and Holly Wallaby on This Morning, which is a joke programme. I don't know how it's still running. It doesn't. I mean, it just goes to show you the state of television. When you watch television, you see how lowbrow a lot of it is. No wonder no one's waking up to these things. Who's going to believe anything when all you're being fed every day is this kind of television that doesn't really make you think? That just is. I mean, Lord Reith, who started television on the BBC, is meant to educate, entertain, and what was the other one? I can't remember the other one. But educate was supposed to be part of it. There's no education in this stuff. It's just puerile entertainment. It is the lowest, and they've realised that because they've realised reality TV programmes and quiz shows and especially reality TV shows, they realise that they get the biggest viewing figures and they are cheap to make. And that's why they make so many of these bloody things all the time. But they are so lacking in education, they are so lacking in reality, but they're just so puerile, and no wonder people can't get to the level of these kind of conversations or this kind of education if this is what they're being fed all the time. So yeah, I just want to say that. I just wanted to also add, I want to thank anyone who's listening to this podcast. I don't think it gets many views on Anchor FM. I don't know how much coverage they get. I'd also like to thank anyone on YouTube, because I do replay these onto YouTube. Anyone who's subscribed to me, I always subscribe back. I always think that's a good policy. I don't know why everyone doesn't do that, because we're all meant to be in the same community. And when I join someone, it would be nice if they subscribe to me back, especially if I'm talking about the same subject, because then it just helps, the message get across. But yeah, I always subscribe anyone who subscribes back to me, because I feel that as a common courtesy. It's like a handshake. I wouldn't refuse someone's handshake. So yeah. Anyway, that's enough for me. I'm sure I will have more on later. Take care, take it easy, God bless, peace.